You are Locked On Marlins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? My name is Jim Greasehopper. Call me Grease, and we are here with your Locked On Marlins POSTCAST on your Locked On Sports Miami YouTube, as well as wherever you're listening to your podcast. And we are talking Spotify. We are talking, where are we at here? We are talking Spotify. We're not talking, are we? Hold on. We have no volume. What is going on here? There we go. All right. So do we have volume there, guys? Let's see. We kind of lost everything for a second there. The magic of live content. There we go. All right. Wow. That was a fun way to start the show. I am sorry, guys, about that. I don't know what in the world just happened. I went away, but apparently you didn't. And we're at 4 minutes and 28 seconds of the show. And I do not know what just happened, except to say that, technically speaking, we just went as cold as the Marlins bats did tonight in Oakland after they won 3 games in a row. They get the 3-game sweep at home. And everything's looking good, right? Against the Rockies, the lowly Rockies, I might say. But the Marlins were looking good. The 3-game sweep is in the books. And just like that, the Marlins go on the road. And momentum's only as good as the next day's pitcher. And in today's case, the starting pitcher for the Oakland A's was JP Sears, who had not won in 4 starts, but he was great tonight. We're going to bring this full circle back around. You are watching your Locked On Marlins postcast on YouTube, the Locked On Sports Miami channel, as well as wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, and of course, you also have the Stitcher and Podbean channels and Apple Music. But we are pumped to be here after every Marlins game, and of course, the Dolphins and the Canes. After that, it's Friday night. The Fish had won 3 in a row. They head west to go to Oakland. And before we get into what happened tonight and the trade that we need to tell you about, I want to thank you for making Locked On Marlins and your Locked On Marlins postcast your first listen every day. We're free, available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And of course, tonight's show, as everything kind of shut down on me, just opening up. This is really a test of the skill. We got this done here tonight, and I'm really pumped that we were able to do that. I want to tell you that the Locked On Marlins postcast is brought to you by eBay Motors. How about eBay Motors and all the things that they're doing for you? And people, it's your car's your baby, right? So from brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors have over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive with all the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, here we go with your Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. You can see my name up there. Pumped to have you with me on this Friday. You ain't got no job. You ain't got nothing to do. But what a great time for the Marlins coming off that 3-game win streak. They head west, young man, and they go to take on the Oakland A's, the lame duck Oakland A's, right? We talked about how the great fans of Oakland, I'm just kidding. The great fan, you see what I did there? We talked about how the great fans of Oakland, great, air quotes, being funny here, they've had great teams. They've had a legacy, a rich sports legacy in that city. Raiders gone, Warriors gone, A's on the way out. They're going to play in Sacramento for 2 years after this year. They got a little over 8,000 fans in a building tonight. They're holding up signs that say sell. These poor fans, man, they are about to lose their last bastion of hope for professional sports for a long time to come. And, it's a shame, but they're not really showing up and showing out. But I think that when you look at this A's team, like the Oakland, they lost 112 games last year, and they didn't win their 16th game until late June. They won their 16th game tonight. They're 16-17. Brent Rooker with a 2-run home run in the 4th inning. They beat the Marlins 3-1, and Rooker looked pretty good. Story Ruiz added an RBI single in the 5th. JP Sears won for the first time in 4 starts, but the A's are playing pretty good ball right now. This team is looking good. They're on a roll, playing well right now, and the Marlins are the opposite, and I'll get to the trade in just a moment. In fact, I'll probably save that for next segment. Ryan Weathers, 2-3, 3 runs, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts over 6 innings. But again, that's a quality start. 3 runs, 6 innings, a lot better than the last time. He didn't walk anybody, didn't hit the batters like he did last time. But I want to get to a big part of the reason why the Marlins didn't look good on offense tonight. They won 3 games in a row coming into their final visit to the Coliseum. And the A's will play 3 seasons in Sacramento as their new Las Vegas ballpark is being built, the old Tropicana being torn down for the A's. For the A's, they tore down a piece of Vegas history. They tore down one of the most famous landmarks in Las Vegas. They tore down a place where the Rat Pack used to be. It was the last place on the Strip where the Rat Pack used to, the Flamingo. But you know what I'm saying. And they tear it down for the A's? Oh, for the A's. Come on. The A's, really? No. And they're getting rid of the Dodgers AAA team there. That is not good. But, Sears pitched well tonight for Oakland, gave up a couple of near, like, I don't even want to say like near run experiences. 1 out triple to Jazz Chisholm Jr. in the 2nd, struck out Emmanuel Rivera and retired Otto Lopez on a grounder. 7 runs in 6 1/3 innings for Sears his last time out against Baltimore. The Orioles are killing it right now, but you're looking at the Marlins, and we'll give you some injury updates a little bit later on, but there's been a trade with the Miami Marlins, and we'll tell you about that in a minute. But tonight they only had 6 hits and 1 run. They scored that 1 run in the top of the 9th inning, and it's just, little too late, but it made it a 3-1 game. You look at Weathers, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, Cronin pitched 2 scoreless innings in relief. Sears 4 innings scoreless for the A's. The Marlins only drew 2 walks tonight, too. You're not getting on base that way. Adams scoreless, 2/3 of an inning, and no runs allowed by Kelly as well. And Ursig in an inning and a third gave up that run, but he got the save as well. It's Locked On Marlins Postcast. My name's Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. We overcome the technical hurdles in the beginning of the show. I still don't know what happened. Everything just went black in my studio, and it just came back on. It was almost like the Marlins were sending me a subliminal message. Don't talk about us tonight with the bats. The bats went cold. A power outage for the Marlins. When we come back, we're going to tell you about a big trade. The best hitter in baseball since 2023 was traded by the Marlins to the Padres today. Reportedly, Luis Arraez, who won the batting title with the Twins in 2022 last year, and here he is this year, just getting hot, almost at the 300 mark, and they trade him. He's the spark plug at the top of the order, but again, when you start 9-24, it's just been a miserable start, so they get that done. It's your Locked On Marlins Postcast. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. Step aside and pay a couple bills and keep it going, talking about that trade on the other side. eBay Motors. Yes, sir. eBay Motors. We just told you about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. And by ride or die, I mean your car. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins with eBay Motors. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers at ebaymotors.com. Continuing on. Continue on with your Locked On Marlins Postcast. You watching Fox? You watching ESPN? Well, how about giving us a shot with Locked On Sports Today? Make the switch. It's free. It's 24/7 streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. As we continue along with your Locked On Marlins Postcast, you see Luis Arraez up there, and the trade happened today. I'm trying to pull up this story right now with the Marlins making that deal. And look, you're 9-24. You're looking to do whatever you can to maybe get a jump start, but this trade's not about that. This is not about that. This is something that, this is money. This is underperforming. This is whatever they need to do to not pay a large payroll for a team that's going to stink all year and not draw ants to a picnic. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem all year long. And I'll tell you this. I'll pull that spot up again. But I'll tell you this. Luis Arraez hitting just about 300. This guy gets traded to the Padres, and I'm going to pull the trade up now so we can let you know what's going on here with Luis Arraez. And, he just, like I said, he had just started hitting the ball. He had legit just started hitting the ball, really caught fire. The last week was a big spark plug at the top of the lineup for the Marlins and a big reason why. Scored 2 runs yesterday. And, it's a done deal. Let's see. What do we got here? The Marlins trading Luis Arraez, their second baseman, for reliever Woo-Suk Go and prospects Dylan Head, Jacob Marcy, and Nathan Martorella. And that's according to ESPN.com. The trade is pending medical review, but is expected to be finalized soon. The first significant move for the Marlins since Peter Bendix took over as the team's president of baseball ops in November after Kim Ng departed. It's the beginning of the Marlins teardown. It's an underachieving team, 9-25, minus 61 run differential after they made the playoffs a year ago. But another aggressive move by A.J. Preller and the Padres, right? He's been there 10 years. They got Manny Machado. They got, obviously, Tatis Jr. They got some really great players. Juan Soto sent to the New York Yankees in December, so the Padres need a left-handed hitter. They're 17-18 with only a +6 run differential. Marlins best player, all-star, batting champion each of the last 2 seasons, and that's he's going to be sometime designated hitter. They're going to cycle some players through that DH spot, and Xander Bogaerts is the second baseman for that team, former Red Sox player. But it's interesting. If you're looking at the players they're getting back, Go spent 7 seasons in the Korean baseball organization, signed a 2-year deal with a mutual option, $4.5 million guaranteed during the offseason. He's 25, appeared in 10 games for AA San Antonio with a 4.38 ERA across 12 1/3 innings. Failed to make the Padres bullpen spring training in Arizona. Head was the Padres' first-round pick last year out of high school. He's 19, center fielder, batting .237 with 3 steals in 21 games in low A. And then Martorella is .294 in 23 games in San Antonio. The Padres selected the 23-year-old first baseman in the 5th round of the 2022 draft. So Luis Arraez is gone, and he hardly had a chance to really think about it, hardly had a chance to even be in Florida and be with Miami that long. And so it's just something that you understand how things go in this sport. And you know that when you're not playing well and you're underachieving, you never know who's going to get traded. You never know who's going to be gone. You never know what's going to happen. And that's kind of what's happening here with this team. And Marlins fans, you've been through this enough times. 97, 03, every year. You know what I mean? Whenever you have a good team, if you don't show up to the games, they're going to get rid of all those players. And it happens all the time. That's what the Marlins do. That's what they have to do. That's what the small market teams do. And, they were hoping to ride that lightning and come into this year off the playoffs a year ago and really do well. And, just not happening for the Marlins right now. At 9-25, they fall to 4-10 on the road with the loss tonight. And it's crazy when you think about Luis Arraez and the stats, and stats don't make everything. He's the Marlins leading hitter at .299, but just looking at some of the things that he brought to the table for this team and what he could be at the top of that order. And that's a shame. That's a real shame when you think about Arraez. I mean, he is hit .343, right? Last year, he was an all-star 2 years in a row, batting champ 2 years in a row, and now he's gone. And, you got to be wondering if you're in that clubhouse, who's next. Anybody with any kind of upside and value that they can bring home big prospects for, who's making any kind of money, is going to be gone. And that's just the way it's going to be. It's just the way it's going to be. And you just don't know what else is going to come next. And that's an uncomfortable feeling for a player. You try to get locked in, try to get locked on, and you got to worry about the revolving door. That's part of pro sports, especially when you're underachieving. But it's really hard to play well and build any kind of momentum when you're worried about that. And when you think about the Marlins and the guys that they're getting back, Jesus Luzardo through a successful bullpen session on Thursday, Braxton Garrett, AAA Jacksonville on Wednesday, Jake Berger started a rehab assignment on Wednesday. So Jake Berger, the infielder, is going to be coming back, the big RBI guy in the middle of the lineup, and then you get some reinforcements with the pitching. But again, you're 9-25 now, You're going to be selling from here on out, and you just can't get too used to your favorite players when you're a Marlins fan. You've never been able to. I mean, and let's be real. I mean, nobody's doing anything. If they don't want to be traded, nobody's doing anything to avoid that. Obviously, Arraez was huge, and Dane Myers went to the leadoff spot tonight. But, you got Chisholm at 230. You got Bell at 181. I mean, you got De La Cruz at 255. Chisholm 230. I already said that. Rivera 217. I mean, this Brujan's 298. He had 3 hits and an RBI tonight, knocked in the Marlins' only run. Fortis is hitting 131. So you don't have a guy on the team who hit 20 homers a year ago. You don't have a 300 hitter in your lineup now. And you had a 2-time batting champion at the top of the order. And now you have some prospects in return. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. And it has been a tough go for the Marlins this season. You get a 3-game win streak. Luis Arraez is hitting the ball well, really starting to spray that ball all over the field, scoring runs. And, yep, he's gone. And I'll tell you, when you get traded from Miami. Of all the places you could go, thank God for Arraez, right? When you think about that, I mean, you get traded from Miami and you're like, man, you love living in Miami. You don't want to get traded from a Miami in New York or in LA, but he gets traded to San Diego. That's not a bad move there. I mean, obviously the state tax is going to be a killer. He just lost a bunch of money. And, that's kind of tough for him. But it's crazy when you think about Arraez just getting going, and no sooner than that, he is gone. We're going to wrap it up on the other side, tell you what to expect from the rest of the series. Tough night for Ryan Weathers. The lefty had more control tonight. And then we'll talk about the A's leaving Oakland and their rich history. We got 3 games to do that over the weekend. You're locked on Marlins Postcast. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. All right, man, I want to tell you about my friends at Monopoly Go. This is right here. Here we go. Monopoly Go. I think I was supposed to do that in the first break, but we had so much confusion at the top of the show. Monopoly Go is such an awesome game. We got to talk about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Come on, Grease. It's already extra innings. We're going late tonight. It's a Friday, but you know what? Even though I've already talked about Monopoly Go, there's just so much good stuff in this game. You can team up with friends in Monopoly Go for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock, and there's so much to get. Unique stickers. You can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with. Hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or hoist their vaults. And plus, Monopoly Go feels new, exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go, so get off the bench and go download it now free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on with Monopoly Go. I love that Monopoly Go game. It is pretty awesome. And I love Prize Picks too. You guys know how much I love Prize Picks. It's the #1 fantasy site. America's #1 fantasy sports app is Prize Picks. Let me say that again. America's #1 fantasy sports app is Prize Picks. They have more than 3 million members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. Prize Picks has something for every sports fan: baseball, basketball, League of Legends, everything in between. You can play along superstars like Meek Mill, Sugar Sean O'Malley. They offer injury insurance. That's right, so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For baseball games, you have a player who registers 2 plate appearances or less, Prize Picks will have your back and not count that as a loss. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this baseball season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $100 with just a few taps. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB. Locked On MLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's right, up to $100 with prizepicks.com. It's the #1 app, the #1 fantasy sports app in the world. Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. All right, wrapping it up on your Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, and the Fish lose the opener tonight, 3-1 at Oakland. They fall to 9-25 on the season. Weathers takes the loss. He's 2-3. Sears got the win to go to 2-2. The 2 teams will play again tomorrow by the Bay, and it's the last bit of pro sports you're going to see in Oakland for a long time. That kind of pro sports. Trevor Rogers going to pitch for Miami. He's 0-4 with a 4.31. Paul Blackburn for the A's, 2-1 with a 3.34. How about the A's playing ball right now? They've won 5 games in a row. All the signs are up. Fish are out. Sell. MLB equals silence is deafening. Owners vote no. And yeah, there's 8,000 of you guys. And there's not really a lot of clout with 8,000 people. We mentioned Arraez traded. these two teams going to get after it again tomorrow. And the Oakland A's, I mean, a good young team, right? They lost 116 a year ago, but the history of this organization, man, and it's a shame. I mean, Vegas, this team is going to be completely different in 3 years when they go to Vegas. The last players from Oakland, there might not be many of them, if any of them, who end up in Vegas with them, but such great history. You think of Charlie Finley and the orange baseballs or the yellow baseballs or whatever it was. And, you know, the teams with Reggie Jackson and Joe Rudy and Raleigh Fingers and Vida Blue and Sal Bando and just those great A's teams, right? And world champions, just a nice run. And even back then, their big-time players were leaving. Fingers left, Blue left, Rudy left, Reggie left. You know what I mean? So that's been a plague for them too. Marlins fans know this all too well. And then, you know, you've had over the years some really good teams and runs in Oakland. The late 80s, early 90s with the Bash Bros, Canseco, McGuire, Carney Lansford, Dave Henderson, Dave Parker, Ricky Henderson at the top of the order, Dave Stewart, their ace, Bobby Welch. I mean, just really nice. And then the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, Miguel Tejada. My son played ball with his kid in Fort Lauderdale. Miguel Tejada Jr. could throw from the fence to the plate 200 feet at 5 years old. Miguel Tejada was an MVP. Jason Giambi was an MVP. You had Zito, Hudson, Mulder, had some nice playoff runs there, never able to take it all the way to the series. But incredible baseball legacy in Oakland that's being thrown away. The city hasn't helped them. They haven't gotten their new stadiums. The fans don't show up, and the Raiders are already gone. They've left there twice, these poor fans. And Golden State Warriors, what do they do when they're in the middle of a dynasty? Hey, we're going to go build our arena in San Francisco. See ya, Oakland. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the way it's been. So, you know, the Marlins out there and seeing that once great building with hardly anybody in there and thinking back to all the great teams that played there, the All-Star game that was there. And, you know, it's too bad. One of my favorite things as a kid, I grew up in New England, and my grandfather and my mom would take me to Red Sox games as a Yankee fan, albeit, but they were Red Sox fans. And one of my favorite experiences in my life as a sports fan was watching the Bash Bros take BP at the Green Monster. Lansdowne Street was being peppered with baseballs from all them big dudes. Canseco, McGuire, Henderson, just crushing bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. And that was a lot of fun. And it's never going to be the same. And the A's are leaving Oakland. But the Marlins dropped the series opener 3-1 tonight. Brent Rooker with a 2-run homer. JP Sears, 6 1/3 innings of scoreless ball. And the A's win the 5th game in a row for them. The Marlins drop game 1 of the series after their 3-game win streak in Miami to close out that homestand against the Rockies. And it's been a long year for the Marlins. Again, Luis Arraez is gone to San Diego. And we will see if anybody else gets dealt. The Marlins with a disappointing start. And again, tomorrow, the Marlins and the A's, it's 4:07 p.m. start, first pitch. And so we'll be here probably right around 7 o'clock with your Locked On Marlins postcasts. And I cannot wait for that. Until then, Marlins fans, I want to remind you to keep your game tight and your mind right. Thank you for being here for your Locked On Marlins postcast. I'm Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Good night.